Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel, that is Mechanical Engineering Make Easy, and this is Akash Misar here. And as you know, I make video which are going to help you all the conceptual clearation of all mechanical engineering concepts. Okay, and in that I am moving with mechanics, and this is seventh lecture. Okay, so in previous lecture we have studied the curvilinear motion, fixed axis rotation, etc. So if you haven't watched that video, go to my channel, watch that video. Okay, and I have designed a number of videos there. You can watch that videos also. Separate playlist is designed for separate subjects, so go there and watch that all the videos. So today's lecture I am going to discuss, that is nothing but D'Alembert's principle. This is too much important for our SOM and TOM. So what exactly D'Alembert's principle? If there is one particle, okay, there is one particle, or we can say one body is there, and which have mass m and moving with acceleration a in this direction. For example, this body is moving with acceleration a. Okay, so ultimately what will happen? The body is moving with acceleration a and mass is m, and if we are applying one opposing force, okay, imaginary opposing force, which of magnitude mass into acceleration, which if we have applied one imaginary force which have magnitude mass into acceleration, then we can say that this body is in dynamic equilibrium. Okay, this is very basics of D'Alembert's principle. Very easiest way I have explained you that if there is any body which will have mass m and moving with acceleration a, okay, and as you know the Newton's second law of motion, that is nothing but summation of forces equal to mass into acceleration. So ultimately what we can say, mass into acceleration will be total force which is in this direction, because I have shown that acceleration in this direction. So ultimately summation of forces equal to mass into acceleration from this direction. So what we have done here, we have applied one imaginary force from opposite direction, and that will also have same magnitude, that is mass into acceleration. So here what will happen, the force which is from this direction and the opposing force, they will cancel each other, but the body is have one constant motion. So body will be in that constant motion up till now if we are increasing or decreasing any force. Okay, and that's why the body will said as the dynamic equilibrium, because body will be in motion but that will be constant motion, the velocity is not going to change, and acceleration will be zero in that case. Okay, that's why we can say that body is in dynamic equilibrium. This is nothing but D'Alembert's principle. Okay, so for your understanding, you can draw figure and in your own words you can write one statement there. Okay, because in case of our gate and etc, they will not going to ask you directly the proper statement, only concept is too much going to important there, and that's why in very easiest way I have explained you what exactly D'Alembert's principle is. So from this D'Alembert's principle we have some formulae like summation of forces minus mass into acceleration will equal to 0 for D'Alembert's principle. As we have studied, summation of forces equal to mass into acceleration, so ultimately summation of forces minus mass into acceleration will equal to 0. This is for rectilinear motion or straight line motion, and summation of forces minus I into alpha will equal to 0. This is for curvilinear motion or fixed axis rotation. For that the summation of forces minus I into alpha, this is mass and this is linear acceleration. This is mass moment of inertia and angular acceleration. This is only the difference here. Okay, this is for rectilinear motion, this is for curvilinear motion. So note down these all two equations, these are too much important for our gate point of view. Then there is another parameter, that is nothing but work done on the particle by F bar during definite displacement. If there is one particle and which is displaced displaced with some dr, this particle is position p1, this is p2. For example, the particle came here, so displacement is dr there maybe. Okay, so the work done on the particle by F bar, if we are applying here from here the F bar, then only the particle move from P1 to P2. So what exactly work done which on particle happened because of this F bar, that is nothing but W equal to integration of F bar into dr bar. So that will become F into cos theta into dr. Okay, so this is also too much important, and in that also F bar dr bar is basic equation, and this is advanced equation, that in case of solving of numerical this equation is important, that is F into cos theta into dr. What exactly F bar? F bar is F bar is vector quantity of that force and F is magnitude of that force. Okay, and this is cos theta into dr. So note down this equation. This equation is also too much important for our gate point of view. Then work energy theorem. There is one theorem, that is nothing but work energy theorem. If you are enjoying, then please like, share and subscribe, and you can watch my all other videos also. So work energy theorem. What exactly work energy theorem is? Work energy theorem is nothing but any particle is there, so that particle, work done on that particle will equal to change in its kinetic energy. If any particle, for example this is the particle there, and this is by applying force F bar, this will move up to this point. Okay, so what happened initially, this was at rest, and finally because of this force that particle gains some kinetic energy. So that gained kinetic energy is nothing but work done. This is nothing but work energy theorem, that is nothing but work done on particle equal to change in its kinetic energy. Okay, so this is also too much basic but too much important basic concept for all the concepts which is we are going to study in case of SOM and TOM. Then we will move towards next concept, that is impulse. What is impulse exactly? We always studied the and here's the name, that is impulse. But what exactly impulse is? Impulse is nothing but if there is one body, okay, and we have applied very large amount of force for very small amount of time. Okay, means large force and small time. If we are going to apply very large amount of force for very small time, that is called as impulse. Okay, this is very basic of impulse. And what happens, the change in momentum happens because of this large force and small time. The change in momentum of that body will happen, and that's why the name is given, that is nothing but impulse. Okay, so next is linear momentum. Okay, momentum will have two types, that is linear and angular. So what is linear momentum? Linear momentum may be P bar, that is M into V bar may be there, because we have shown here P bar, or P equal to M into V. This is linear momentum. This is in vector form, this is in magnitude form. The linear momentum P bar equal to mass into velocity. Again here P equal to mass into velocity. This is linear momentum. And for angular momentum, that will become I into omega. Okay, again this is mass moment of inertia and this is angular velocity. This is angular and these both are linear. Okay, so linear and angular, only difference is here. In case of mass we have to consider here mass moment of inertia. In case of linear velocity we need to consider here angular velocity. Okay, so note down these two formulas. These two formulas are too much important, that is linear momentum and angular momentum. Then next is law of conservation of linear momentum. There is one law which is nothing but law of conservation of linear momentum, that we will study now. What exactly it is? And that is nothing but the summation of external forces will equal to 0 if summation of external forces equal to 0. If summation of external forces equal to 0, then we can imply that the linear momentum is constant. Okay, if summation of external forces is 0, then linear momentum is constant, that is mass into velocity. Okay, and how? Because if external forces summation is 0, then what will happen? As I have shown you, if this is one body which is moving with velocity v, and as the summation of external forces is 0, so acceleration will equal to 0. Okay, and as acceleration equal to 0, body will have constant momentum, because velocity is not going to change there and mass is also not going to change. So ultimately what will happen, the momentum will be constant, and that is nothing but m into v. That's why this is nothing but the law of conservation of linear momentum. That is, if summation of external forces equal to 0, then the linear momentum will be constant, that is mass into velocity. Okay, I have given you an example with the help of this figure also, and then also you haven't cleared that concept, then you can comment me, definitely I will give you explanation of that. Okay, then next is impact. Okay, what is impact? Okay, I think number of people may know what exactly impact. Impact is nothing but collision between two bodies. That collision may be front on collision, back on collision, side on collision. There are different types of collision, but we will just consider the front on collision. For example, these are two bodies which is moving in velocity v1, and this is moving with velocity v2. This is body 1, body 2. So what will happen, these bodies will collide to each other, and this is nothing but impact. Okay, what is impact? Collision of two bodies, that is nothing but impact. Okay, then depending on this impact or collision of two bodies, there is one term, that is nothing but coefficient of restitution. Okay, what is that term? That is nothing but coefficient of restitution, and what exactly it is, that is denoted by E, and that E equal to relative velocity after impact. Okay, relative velocity after impact upon relative velocity before impact. I will give you one example here. For example, if this is one body which is moving in this direction with velocity, for example 10 meter per second, and this is another body which is moving in opposite direction with the velocity of, for example, again 10 meter per second. So what will happen, the relative velocity after impact and relative velocity before impact. Before impact, what is relative velocity here, and after impact, what is relative velocity here, that we need to calculate, and depending on that velocities, the coefficient of restitution is there. Okay, so this is the basic of that. And now we will move towards our last topic, that is nothing but bonus point. What are the bonus points for today's lecture? But before that, if you are enjoying my session, then please like, share and subscribe. Okay, so I will get motivated from that. So first, bonus point is depending on, again, a coefficient of restitution. That value of coefficient of restitution, how that value varies. If that coefficient of restitution have value 1, that means the collision is elastic collision. How it will happen? For example, as I shown you, these two bodies are there. Okay, and if the collision is elastic, and this is moving with 10 meter per second, and this is also moving with 10 meter per second, then after collision also this will move in backward direction with 10 meter per second, and this will again move in backward direction with 10 meter per second. So ultimately relative velocity before impact and relative velocity after impact is equal to same. So ultimately coefficient of restitution will become 1. Okay, this is nothing but elastic collision. Then next is, if that E value is ranges from 0 to 1, then this is nothing but inelastic collision. Okay, if that E, that is coefficient of restitution value, varies from 0 to 1, that is nothing but inelastic collision. Means the relative velocity after impact is less than relative velocity before impact. This is inelastic collision. And if that E value is exactly equal to 0, this is plastic collision. Means after impact suddenly the velocity will become 0, relative velocity will become 0 after impact. That's why the coefficient of restitution is after impact upon before impact. So ultimately the E value will become 0, and this is nothing but plastic collision. And there is one another concept also, that is if E is greater than 1, this is nothing but super elastic collision. Okay, super elastic collision. This is also too much important. While E is equal to 1, that is elastic collision, 0 to 1 inelastic collision, 0 then plastic, and greater than 1 then super elastic collision. So these 4 conditions are too much important for our study purpose, for our GATE purpose also, because this is too much basic for number of numericals there. Okay, so that's why note down these all 4 conditions. We will require these all the conditions while solving numerical. And in next lecture I will come up with the basic concepts like center of mass, center of gravity, then kinetic energy, then work done, and etc etc. So up till now you can watch my all other videos, and stay tuned for that. Like, share and subscribe. We will meet again. Thank you friends.